it every time, and once again, I hated it.
Yeah,
Um,
you do this in a lot of leagues. You start off with something you're very clearly not going to enjoy because you're like, well, it'll farm currency really quick, and then you're like stuck in it because you either can't gear around it or
well,
you're
no,
just
I
like
always,
bored by it by like level 30.
I always pretty much get to maps and then re-roll. Essentially,
Yeah.
is what I end up doing. So I mean, I just was like, okay, so I want a league starter that I haven't played before. Um, I'm very uninterested in specters, even with the improved AI. I mean, I've done specters a million times too. So I was like, shit, you know what I've never done? Totems. So
Oh my god, you went totems. I didn't
yeah,
think you'd
so
ever go totems.
yeah, so I had Holy Flame totems for a little while leveling up, and then I've switched them out to Freezing Pulse now. And it's a lot of fun. I'm really enjoying it.
Really, freeze pulse totems.
Yeah, a lot of fun.
What's the cast rate on those?
Extremely fast. I mean, I just bump up my cast speed and it influences the totem.
Really? Okay.
Oh wow.
Yeah, so it's pretty much whatever your cast speed is.
I thought they were. I thought they had different cast speed before. Did that change?
Maybe they had it before. I was learning about totems for the very first
Okay.
time this week. So
It's been a long time since I last played totems. Back when I was trying to figure out what I wanted to do with a fizz totem build. First wanted to do shockwave totem because I like the idea of being like a master of beats and having like these totems pumping out sick beats. Um, but then like that build's damage was so bad because shockwave totem does nothing for damage. There's like no gems that work with it. All your skills don't work with it. It's like this is just fucking garbage. No wonder I never see anybody play with this skill. So then I went to Ancestral War Chief, and I was really I don't know. It was interesting, but it got very boring very quickly. And part of that was like attack speed was very um, it was weird because like you had to remember which things affected you that also affected the totem and which things affected you but didn't also affect the totem. So I found out at one point like half my tree was in the wrong direction. I had to like buy back things and redirect the tree, and then by that time it was late enough in the league. I was like, you know what, fuck this.
yeah, and like with the build I'm going with, I'm doing the cursing yourself build. So the armor that gives you the level 20 spell totem for the 7 link. But it also gives you curses whenever your totem dies, and then 2 of the rings plus the reduced curse in the tree in order to get 100% curses unaffected by.
Okay.
And
I thought you meant 100% bonus effect of.
yeah, and so that'll be a lot of fun. Like I can also get the item that gives me multiple curses at the same time. There's the corrupted jewel that gives you more damage for each curse you have.
Oh yeah, because the
Uh,
curse immune doesn't take the curse away. It just makes you not susceptible to the effects of the curse. I forgot about that.
yeah, and then if I get 60 exalted or so, I can get one of the Alziri's mirrors and get a curse immunity from that, and and swap out all my other gear for even more broken shit. But that's only like 60 exalteds or
Yeah,
so.
only 60 exalted.
Pretty easy.
Cheaper than the last few leagues to get the mirror. To be honest, I think it's because I assume it's easier to get the prophecy or something this league.
I don't think 60 is cheaper. I thought last league they were around 20, but last league was melee league, so no one was playing that build.
Yeah, to be fair, I played for about 2 weeks last league. Like I didn't really play last league.
Yeah, last league being so melee heavy, mirrors were actually you're talking about Asteria's mirror, not like Kalandra's, right?
Right, I'm talking about yes, the shield that gives you curse immunity.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, that was like all time cheap. It was like only 15 exalted last league.
All right. Yeah.
I did not realize that more than half of the conscripted game is Path of Exile players.
I don't play right now because I'm trying to finish my thesis.
Yeah.
But yeah, as far as the tower defense mechanics, I mean they're pretty fun. What I really like is the fact that you can essentially get any like node that you really want from the what would that be called, the character
Yeah,
passage
from the tree. Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's pretty cool. Yeah, that's
so that really enables like some very cool things.
I'm really mad, by the way, that the two mechanics that I liked the most came out in the two leagues I was the least interested in. Because I thought the synthesis mechanic was really great, but I thought synthesis as a league was really bad. It was so bad, and I thought the like big encounter thing that I was like I thought was going to be really exciting. When watching like somebody do that fight, I was like, this is the most god awful boring fight ever, and I don't want to hear the person say its catchphrases anymore. Someone needs to like fucking put a permamute on this. I've heard the touch of God so many times, like that I should probably be insane, but that one's okay. I don't want to hear the other things from that synthesis one. I blocked them from my brain at this point because they were that fucking irritating.
Yeah, I don't have any voices or anything on. Like, the only thing I hear is my loot filter.
Oh.
Because I always am either listening to a stream in the background or I have on a podcast or an audiobook.
Yeah.
So,
Like the right way a player should play, instead of like me being super addicted to I need to hear what my weapon is doing or what my attack is doing every time because that's the most gratifying sound in the game.
yeah, all I need is that loot filter sound.
No, part of why I was playing Glacial Cascade so much was because I loved that sound. I loved that like whooshing sound, the crashing sound, and the such a beautiful sound. And then they made Glacial Cascade just a thing you use with totems. Now it's even worse than ever before. Heaven forbid it crit.
I was hearing Divine Iron totems are pretty fun, but I haven't tried it.
Yeah, I just I don't know, I don't like the Divine Iron spell like with the huge delay. Like it just annoys me, and so I wouldn't want to see, a ton of Divine Irons going off. It would just be annoying, I think.
Yeah.
But yeah, I imagine that it probably could end up being better for killing bosses than Freezing Pulse, definitely.
Who's got the fan on, by the way?
Oh yeah, there's some like little wind going on.
Oh, that's me.
Oh man, Ryan,
And
you're on the wrong audio input again.
Oh, that's probably because my headset wasn't on when I loaded up.
By the touch of God, would you fix it?
No.
Oh, that's not better.
No. I don't remember what the fire was. Ryan has not figured out how computers work. How does one?
I feel like your whole setup is like redone every session. You gotta refix your whole setup.
Well, this is confusing because I think it's set on the one that I had it set on before. Because this other one is my headset, and I don't think I was using that.
No, you weren't, because your headset had dreadful audio quality. You had it set to like the mic that was inside the computer.
Yeah, that's what I had it on just a second ago.
Well, when you switch
like
it, you have to apply it after you switch it.
Oh.
I think, if I remember correctly.
I don't think that you do.
I thought you did, but I might be wrong.
Is that better?
No.
Oh, biscuits.
Everything sounds the same as when you were using your headset.
Oh. No. Is that better?
No.
No.
Nothing is changing.
Load up Discord again.
God damn.
Plot twist, that's just his mic now.
Yeah.
No!
and slowly everyone dropped out of the campaign for very ambiguous reasons to Steve. It's like, sorry, Steve, it's just the story isn't compelling, or
Oh, dude, that would break my heart. I'm sorry. You wanna hurt me for
There
at
you
least a
go.
couple of weeks?
Oh,
That's the way you do it. That's
Okay.
already happened to me once before.
What was the problem? You fixed it.
I loaded it back up, and it loaded up the same setting I had it on. So I have no idea. Maybe it just didn't actually change it or something.
well, as Steve could probably tell you, turning it back on and off again is like the core
Rule
of
number
any
one.
IT solution.
Actually, in my office, the first one is log off and log back on. You probably need to change your password.
Wow, that's sad.
Well, we do password resets happen every 30 days, and
Okay.
it's on an obvious timer. You know when it's going to happen. You get warnings about it for 3 days prior to it, so you knew it was coming. And then people will log in the morning, and it'll be telling them like, you need to change your password today. You need to change your password today. And then all halfway through, one of the programs we uses Windows authentication for your ability to communicate with the database. And so once your password expires, the system's like, nope, you can't talk to me anymore. Fuck you. And then I get that call like, I'm getting an error message on my program. Yep, I bet you are. Log off and log back on. I already did that. No, you closed the program. I need you to log off the computer and log back on. Well, I'm restarting it now. That's basically the same thing. Thanks.
Thank you for taking the longest possible route to do that.
Well, the good news, the somewhat good news is when people are like that, that's the reason you get more work, right? People don't understand it. So
Well,
you're
in
paid
this
to understand
particular
more.
case, I mean, I'm working a desk job that pays me, a salary, and it's not the kind of work that I want to be doing. It's not. I want to be engaged when I'm working, and that's not engagement. When I did, and while I'm doing right now some of the consulting work that I'm doing, one of the things that like is paramount for me is I don't want you to have to see me. And if you do see me, I want it to mean either one, I'm solving something that needs to be solved, or two, I'm going to make something in your life better. My goal is not to come out and be the guy that's basically, making you feel stupid or making you feel like you don't understand something. The goal is to just make you feel like business is running better overall. And for most of my clients, that was a good philosophy until I made a shitty decision that caused me to leave, and then I regret it substantially.
Damn.
And I deal with that regret every time I try to sleep.
Jeez.
Oh, everything seems normal there.
Where the hell is Michelle?
Potion shop is already overwhelmed with business.
She doesn't need us anymore.
Yes, she's like, I have to cancel. I'm too
She probably forgot
much
that
demand. I'm
it's-
brewing late into the night now. I actually had, on the topic of supply and demand, frozen pizzas now are like $7.99 if you want like a stuffed crust, like nice, like good, like pizza. It's kind of interesting that it's actually converged to that, because that's still a bit cheaper than like ordering a pizza, right? But that's like so
Mhm.
much more expensive than they used to be. Like a good frozen pizza used to be like $4.99.
It's actually not even that much cheaper, depending on where you go.
Yeah.
Well, when you consider you're like, if you're picking up, it's about the same actually. But if you're ordering, it's 100% cheaper because you don't pay the $5 rip-off fee.
Yeah.
Then the tip and everything.
Just the tip?
Mm-hmm.
Just the shaft.
Just the tip. That's actually, there's a pool league in a team in my league that's called Just the Tip. It's hilarious to me.
That's all you need to get there.
Just a touch.
All right, so Mal, we need to talk about your character for a second.
Okay.
Oh shit.
So I got some questions. First of all, what did you decide on for your deity for Blade of Mercy?
I think I'm gonna go with the chaotic one.
Okay, so Shashat?
Yeah.
Okay. And then you don't have a spell selected for magical lineage yet. I don't know if you had in mind what you were applying to it.
I think I had them in parentheses there. So lineage is SG.
Oh, okay. That's what that means. Got it.
Yeah. I don't know if there's a better spot for me to put that.
No, I was just curious because I didn't know what SG or FB meant, so
Oh yeah,
it didn't hit
in
me.
my head. It was like obvious because I was like going through all my spells as I was doing it. But yeah, that was I'll put it just in description.
That's fine. I was totally confused by that. I was like, SG, what the fuck does he mean SG and FB? Metamagic Master of Facebook.
Right. Yeah, I wasn't sure because you have to specify a spell for them.
Yeah.
And it's the title isn't applied. Like some feats apply to a specific spell, right?
Right.
And like it's contained within the title, but when they don't contain it, I was like, I want to specify it somewhere, and I didn't know where.
No, that's fine. I go through people's character sheets from time to time, so if people have me ask them questions about character sheets, that's just part of what I do. There may be feats that people have added that I didn't see before and that might be impactful to the story, or a number of other things that come up. Or I might be adding stuff to your sheet secretly and then notice something else in the process.
And like on the topic of what we discussed, just if stuff does go to hell with like order, or wait, which one? I'm sorry, I forget what I said. I want to be the one that has order, but if Maldronicus ends up finding that order tends to be corrupt and disobey his like desire for like unity, then he would tend towards the other one.
Okay, well, order is going to be on her.
Okay.
On her is the lawful good one. Sashad is the chaotic good one.
Okay. So, like, because right now the way that I've been playing my character is he believes that order and agreement between races and like civilizations is good, but if he starts seeing that that's a corrupt and a wasteful and like it's just going to turn into bad things, then he would start tending towards maybe a more chaotic alignment with that.
Okay.
But so I guess at the moment, I'll say I'm the more lawful one.
Okay.
I think he agrees with aspects of both, right?
Right.
It's not like, it's just like I don't know how corrupt your organization in this is in your mind. We haven't really seen too much of it, I guess, except in that one town. But like I just think of America, right? Like every like agreement is corrupt. Everything's like corrupt. I mean,
I'll have you know, there's plenty of people out there that think the U.S. of A. is a place full of good old boys that are just trying to do the best for their country.
Yeah. Then you spend some time in the government sector and you just like realize, oh God. Yeah, I was also realizing it's pretty fun being strength build just because even without a thing of holding, I'm just like slowly accruing just random shit in my inventory. And like you don't have to be like when you do the dex build, it's like I bought a new armor. Someone hold my old one. But right now I've got my old armor in my inventory, I've got my new one, I've got like all my shit, and I'm still white load.
It's more embarrassing when you're like, yeah, guys, I need to carry like chalk. Can somebody carry it for me, please?
I mean, I feel like that when you're a wizard who dumps strength, your like white load is like, I think it's like 18 pounds or something stupid. So it's like
my first character was 8 strength wizard, and my spellbook was basically my carrying capacity.
Yeah. It's like I want a bag of holding, but it would put me over.
Yep, he couldn't even wear his clothes because those were too much for him.
Oh God.
But yeah, having massive strength is great because then you can carry things like boats on you.
Yes.
So yeah. So sorry. So the lawful one is Shad.
No, on her ANHUR is the lawful one. That is
AHNAR.
ANHUR. I'll see if you spelled it right. Then I can critique you. Nope, forgot the H. I'll put it in there. Boop.
As opposed to just spelling it for him.
Quiet you.
And I guess while at it, I don't know where my homeland is. Would I know, or is that something you're keeping sort of as a DM?
That is something that right now will remain a secret.
Okay, cool. I'm fine with that.
in
I'll
the
just
same
put
way,
unknown.
at least one other player does not know where their homeland is.
Yeah, because I imagine as a child, like I don't even remember where my parents' house was because we moved when I was 4.
I remember everywhere I lived.
You remember where you lived before you were 4?
Yeah.
Wow.
I had
That's
a
impressive.
traumatic enough experience as a child that I can recall it. There was a day where the family dog got out,
Okay.
and like the whole, like everybody around the neighborhood was looking for it. And so I like that is deeply impacted into my brain.
That makes sense.
I remember where I lived when I was 4.
Because you still live there?
No, I moved out like a year and a half ago because we
I
sold the
still live
place.
there.
Did you say you still live there, Tom?
At my house. From
Oh,
when
I
I'm
thought you meant
away.
at Ryan's house.
Yep. No, Tom lives in my old house with whatever the new family is that lives there. Whatever. I don't know.
I remember Ryan's house from when he was 4.
I remember watching Ryan sleep when he was 4.
Jesus.
Yes, Ryan.
I should be concerned.
That wasn't
Maybe.
your dad.
Ugh. So it was you that touched me?
What?
What?
Oh,
Whoa, no.
Oh. Okay, let's roll the intro. Let's
This is
change
about the role
subjects
play.
quickly,
I
just
like
anything.
over.
Change this so that I'm not seeing this stupid.
So did we find out if like Michelle just forgot that it was a day earlier?
No,
this week,
so
or-
like her and her mom are playing a game right now, so I'm waiting for them to finish that up.
Gotcha. As long as we know why she's late, I mean.
Yep. I just need to get her to be better about like notifying people when she's going to be running behind.
Do we know what happened to Charles that one week too? Did he just fall asleep?
Yes, he did.
Okay.
That sounds like a Charles thing to
Charles
do.
has a very like all over the place work schedule. Like he works the night shift and he regularly has like sleep problems around that, and he's got a whole bunch of other stuff he does on the side. So like it is a regular thing for him to just be like, if we take too long a pause from talking with him, like in a scene, out he'll go. And he'll be like laying in some of the most uncomfortable positions. Like one day he was just like laying up against his wall and his like neck was kind of craned. And it almost looks like he's dead when that happens.
Jesus.
Yeah.
It when we play Mafia, it's usually late at night, and there's definitely people that just join and they're like half asleep, and we're like, oh god, are they gonna make it? And they never do. Like it, because we turn off our cameras during the night phase when like the Mafia is deciding who they kill. And there's people that just won't turn their cameras back on. They're just like
They were killed.
it would work out nice if it was that way, but it actually really fucks with the game when
Yeah.
random
that's
people are
true.
dying. If they're Mafia, it's extra bad.
Yep.
But it's usually never is Mafia because the Mafia is awake during the night and they have stuff to declare. So it's usually just some random ass town. And it's like, well, great, the Mafia just got another free kill on us. Like, it's fucking terrible.
All right, well, I'm gonna make some Pop-Tarts since we're waiting right
Go
now.
for it. I'm gonna try not to get super annoyed here because I am.
Yeah.
Steve,
Well, if you have it.
I still just have a lingering sadness. So can you remove Saya's vision in my sheets?
Yes,
I don't.
absolutely.
I can't keep looking at it. It just hurts too much.
Let's see. I go here to do this, right? Yeah. Boop. All gone.
One day, I'm coming for you, Sia. I don't even actually know how to pronounce the name.
It's Sia.
Never- Okay.
Was that the thought of your scimitar?
Yeah.
I'll help you on your quest. I kind of feel bad. But not too bad because I've been
Because I got my necklace back. I'll feel a little sad.
Yes.
I need that. I don't know if you have it saved. The old.
Oh yeah,
description.
I had like programming to go along with it, and I've totally. Hold on. I got it. I think I've got it somewhere. I really hope I put that somewhere and that I don't have to spend the like 20 minutes I did last time reprogramming that thing. And I think
It wasn't
I do.
programmed the last time I had it.
I
unless
thought
you
I
did
did.
that on
I
the
thought I
thing.
had
No.
a couple of things etched into it.
No. The only thing I had programmed was the necklace. I think the toy you added some good description, but it's still that's not programmed.
Okay.
Yeah, it was
Yes, let me
definitely
look at
just
the character. Yeah. Okay. Let me. That's not exactly right. I need to write out the special correctly there.
Yeah, I just did that for so I remembered like what's giving me what.
Yeah, no problem. I need to add something to you. Still, I like that you push the button when you use your claws. That does need to keep happening, obviously.
Yeah.
Where is your button to activate your claws?
Why
am I not seeing it?
under
Am I
my
just crazy?
spells?
Ah,
Grow
okay.
claws per day. Yeah,
Excellent.
because I have to track my per day.
Okay.
I was trying to figure out how to program it so that it added one or something every time I clicked it, but I don't. I think that's beyond macros. I think you have to have like an API or some crazy shit.
Okay, I'm testing this to make sure it works. Nope, that did not work. It's 2 brackets, isn't it? Nope. What the fuck?
Yeah, I think some fields don't allow for formulas. I think. 'Cause I think I
No,
was
the
trying to do
effect field
something-
does.
No?
There's something. There is something weird about it. There we go. You have to put a 1 in front of any D number in order for it to roll. So, like in some columns, you can put just D and then the die number.
Yeah.
In others, you have to put a number of the die before it
Huh.
in order for it to activate. So that adds that I need there.
Oh, cool.
So we'll
Yeah.
need to keep an eye on that because there are triggers that happen at different hits. And this
Damn, I was thinking as soon as I left, she would come and join the call.
that would be nice, wouldn't it?
I hope if I roll, if I roll a 1, I don't just die.
No, it's
Crazy
definitely not an
shit.
auto death. I would not.
Okay.
I'm not gonna Quabu anybody here. So
What's going on? Some saves or dies?
basically, that's what he was worried about. Am I making his necklace a save or die?
Somebody say something about skate or die.
Oh. Might as well just be skitching at that point.
Oh, dude, Sketcher was great.
Yeah, it was.
That was the one for Sega, right?
There was one on Sega and one on SNES, if I remember right.
Yeah, probably. I didn't have SNES, so I don't know.
I didn't either, but
Just sketching on the back of cars and
yep.
That's
Skitching USA.
good times.
So, John, what are you playing on PoE?
I did make. League started a Reeve build, which I did not like at all. And then I went to my good old Death Oath. I love Death Oath. So I'm playing that now. Just hit 76, 77 with it.
Deathos got nerfed, I thought.
No, it got buffed in
Oh,
3.6.
buffed. Okay.
Yeah.
No, I thought in the patch notes this league something had happened to it.
Not to my knowledge, no. Last note I saw, at least on the wiki, it says just the buff from 2 leagues ago.
Okay. Alright, yeah, this is what I was thinking of. Several damage overtime skills such as Righteous Fire Contagion and the Death Aura from Deathos could now break barrels, so it was a buff, not a nerf.
Yeah, I was noticing that, and I was like, wait, did that always happen? When I was doing Blood Aqueducts, all the barrels are breaking around me. I'm like, did that always happen? I don't remember.
Yep, so that's what I was thinking of.
That's a sweet buff, yeah. Extra drops.
Oh, on the topic of ages, by the way, Steve, when we were talking about that,
Yes.
half-orcs are the same as humans, essentially?
Roughly, yeah.
Okay.
Half-orcs sort of reach maturity a slight bit earlier, but...
I was, like, going back and, like, now I'm just, like, paranoid of every character I ever created. Was I doing it, like, really wrong?
Yeah, don't let yourself get too caught up in that.
Wait, maybe I misunderstood this. When you're half orc, are you mostly human, or do you have like a lot of orcish features? I don't even know.
No, you'll have a bunch of orcish features. So in my world, it's very easy to identify when someone is half orc.
Okay.
The orcish features do bleed through pretty prevalently. It's not quite the same as half elf, where a lot of the features are more muted because the human bloodline is a little more like overwhelming. In my world, the orc bloodline is significantly more overwhelming.
So like, if he
also,
was
in order to be a
already-
half elf, you're basically like a super rarity because typically
Right.
elves cannot procreate with other races, anything other than whatever was put into them or taken out of them.
So when Meldronicus is just chilling out in the wilderness, is he more likely to be mistaken as an orc or a human? I guess is my question.
No, it's
Probably
obvious
not.
that he's a half orc because he doesn't have the like the his physique is pretty good, but it's still not what is typically considered like the orcish physique. Orcs are normally much bigger, like in both height and in width. So it's very pronounced when you're an orc traditionally, and he's very unmistakably not human because there is some like tonal differences, as well as like the nature of the skin is different.
Okay.
What's actually really funny is that only half-orcs can get a bite attack. Full orcs can't. So,
What?
like,
Really? Is that true?
I think they
Yeah.
have actually. I think they have a bloodline that does, or a variant that does give them.
I don't know
Okay.
if they've eroded it, but it makes zero fucking sense that half-orc teeth
what?
can get big enough to, like, bite people, and regular orcs can't.
All right, Michelle, cam on, please.
I guess with that logic,
I'll
maybe.
be back before the intro finishes.
Yeah, I'm
I have
gonna
to
run real quick too,
grab
and then
my-
we're gonna get started. Michelle, can you say something just so we know your mic is working?
Something just so we know your mic is.
Thank you. Be right back.
I was gonna say I kind of buy that for half orcs only getting bite then, because maybe it's like a mutation from the mixing of bloodlines that their teeth get like engorged or whatever. Because I guess maybe normal orcs can't actually like, I don't know. Who knows?
Maybe. I have no idea. I don't know enough about orcs. Dirty ass orcs.
Stereotypical orcs I've seen have like huge ass teeth that I would think could bite, but I don't know. Maybe D&D orcs are clearly different, I guess.
Maybe full orcs are vegetarians, so they have flat teeth, whereas half orcs are omnivores, so they get fangs.
Ooh.
Yes, that's what it is, Tom. Wouldn't they still be able to do a bite attack then? But it would just do bludgeoning damage, maybe? I don't know.
Wouldn't pierce the skin, it wouldn't do enough damage.
Oh, they seem like they got a strong jaw.
So John, I've updated your amulet.
Ooh.
So you know, anytime you use your claws, anytime you deal damage with your claws, or anytime that you reduce damage due to your dragon resistances, you will need to roll a d100. Since at this point, or I think it's at this level that you qualify, right? Or no, it's next level. So since at next level you'll gain a natural armor bonus. Oh no, I'm sorry, you do have a natural armor bonus at this level. If something misses you by 1 right now, you will need to roll a d100 as well. So I'll need to know when something misses you by 1.
My natural armor bonus is 2. I got 1 from level 3, and then this amulet boosted me to the next tier, which is now plus 2.
Yeah, that was actually a. Oh no, you're right.
Or should I just keep it?
No.
to 1?
This is a mistake on my part. I have the number wrong. I thought it was increased by 4. You're right. It is increased by 5. Okay, so that's more accurate. So yeah, if you miss by 2 or less, then you need to let me know, and you need to roll a d100.
If I miss.
No,
or you're
if
saying
they
something
miss,
misses me
if something
by-
misses you by 2 or less.
Okay.
Even though it does give you the increased effect of your bloodline powers, you still have to qualify for having them before you can use them. So this does not inherently give you access to your breath weapon.
Correct. Yes. Yeah. That's at level 9 or whatever.
Correct. But when you get it, it
Yeah,
will be
yeah.
more powerful than your typical breath weapon.
Spoilers.
Yeah, I mean, you can already kind of figure out that what this is doing is buffing your existing cooldown powers.
I'm interested to know how it's going to interact with my new feat at next level. Plan on taking Eldritch Heritage, which gives me access to a level 1 power of any sorcerer bloodline, but to keep it themed, I'm going to pick Stormborn, which basically just gives me more electric stuff.
Yeah, but isn't Stormborn that you also have, like, Giant Bloodline? Or is that Ifrit
I don't think so.
Bloodline?
It just says I was born in the middle of a storm or something like that.
Oh, okay.
And basically, I only get the level 1 of the power, which is basically my claws get a 1d6 electrical damage. And because of my other bloodline, I get 1d6 plus 1.
I got fun stuff in mind for you, don't you worry. Alright, and with that, let's go ahead and get started. Alright, sorry for that error, but welcome once again to Conscripted, episode 14. We rejoin the party on the 27th of Virdum. How is everybody doing on today?
On today, it's doing great.
Today. Yeah, I did not. I'm a little bit tired, more than a little bit tired, so
Okay.
things are going to be a
I've
little
said
off.
worse. Yeah, I'm just thinking how much I love this intro music. It's super good.
Thank you.
Good choice.
Thank you so much. I spent a disproportionate amount of time trying to find music for this, and I'm still not happy with half my choices. So, and there's still that one track that, damn it, I'm trying to force into situations that it doesn't work in, but I don't care. I like it too much. So yeah, who remembers where we left off? Or should we do what we did last time, and everybody gives me a little bit of what happened last session?
Oh, I remember where we left off.
I mean, there's just some stuff with Arius and Mal, and that was it, right? Nothing else important.
I don't remember anything else.
Yeah, I think that was it. If anyone had anything written down beyond that, it definitely isn't real. And Sphinxor definitely isn't cursed with like some sort of continuous spell.
I
The
also
party
didn't see
betrayed
an
me.
entire book of blue magic spells. And I also
Betrayed.
didn't get part of my mind almost erased.
Sorry, we missed
so-
out on all the good blue magic.
A bit of clarification for that, Michelle. You do actually, your spell does actually function like the other spell that I had in mind. I had an idea for a custom spell, but it looks like it actually got produced at some point, which I didn't know. And they are close enough that I'm effectively calling them the same spell.
Oh, so
you would have
almost
bought
bought
the same thing,
exact
but
same spell.
if you would have, we would have worked out a different spell to replace it.
Okay.
Yeah. Anything else anybody remembers?
Besides the massive betrayal of the party
I remember a lot, but I think someone else should give it because it's going to be really biased coming from me.
No, let's hear it. I think we should get multiple opinions. Let's treat this like a court of law.
I bought some nonfiction literature.
So, like, it basically went kind of like this, like, Maldronicus has really been trying to adapt to this human culture. And it's been hard. Every time he tries to trust a human, he gets backstabbed. And for the first time in his life, he reached out to this party, and seeing, like, all this craziness, like, like, Tom's obviously dead, or Tom's character is dead. But, like, he saw, like, that was his first exposure to humans outside of being, like, enslaved by them. And he's like, well, at least this Arius guy seems reasonable, right? But this Arius guy, he took my one true love from me in my sleep.
From you while you were sleeping with your other true love.
And he did it for a necklace. He didn't even know her name. That is all I will say on the matter. You guys can talk about your magic bookshop.
All right, Arius, how about you? What was your perspective on what happened in that incident?
So Arius is like the lone survivor of dead friends and companions, and he, he doesn't care about much. He can't be attached to these people. He needs to be attached more to things that are giving him like some things that can help him stay alive, because that's what is super important right now. And that blade was a means to an end, and I made my choice.
Right.
Arius made his choice.
Definitely no biases in the music there.
Yeah, you can't use that music anymore either. I'm putting that on the same list. Of,
that music is going.
It has bad memories now.
I love that music.
Bad juju.
All right, so and when we left off, you were standing outside of where, Zeke?
Well, we had walked away from it, but it was the bookstore.
Mm-hmm.
Where I had finally found one of these mind-influencing wizards, and no one was willing to help me take him down.
Look, just because I don't want to die doesn't mean I don't actually want to help you.
Hey, it could be worse.
All these accounts are so biased. I love it.
To be clear, the plan is delayed, not denied. So I'm also interested in taking
all
out
the same.
guy.
Think of how many people are going to be hurt by this man in the meantime.
Not that many. They'll be fine.
Yeah, like me.
Potentially,
Apparently.
Potentially.
And Spinks, you wouldn't be dead. I'm sure he's got something much worse planned.
That's really nice of you to reassure me.
All right.
I do what I can.
All right, so everybody, I believe, had some stuff they wanted to get accomplished today to start things off. What were the plans that people had?
So I know that I was still intending. I didn't make it to the library last session, so I was still intending to do that to start adding into my journal and trying to get more comparisons with because on our last trip we encountered a very large lion, and I wanted to sort of take notes on that, and just make a log of these things that I'm encountering and how much different they are from normal things.
I thought you did make it to the library last session because I was trying to get there, and I didn't make it to the library.
First thing that happened last session was you guys went to check out this bookstore. That was everybody's first order of business.
I made it there, and you got there as you were. It was closing.
It was closing, yeah.
But it wasn't open for very long for me.
So
either.
I believe the two of you were planning to head there because you both had discussed what you guys were both interested in.
Because Steve had said I hadn't had enough time that night, but I would have 2 questions I could have answered, or one very exact question or 2 general questions.
Yeah, I'm gonna go study some geography.
Excellent. And then Zeke, what is Zeke doing?
Well, I had recommended that to potentially help with the Sphinx problem. We were going to want to switch ends.
Okay.
So, I mean, in like if they're like immediately heading to the bookstore before we do something like that, I mean, I guess I would just go drinking like in a depressed state here.
Okay.
Isn't this the last day we're staying here? Or?
Yeah.
Yeah, this is the last day.
Okay.
Then tomorrow morning we're leaving, right?
Yep. In the morning you're leaving.
Oh, okay. My bad. I thought that we were leaving tonight. Or yeah. I don't know why I thought that, but
All right. How about Arius? What's Arius planning to do?
I think I would want to go with the library with them, just because I think I want to figure out like what's going on with me.
Okay.
So I have this blue dragon toy, and I have this amulet, which I believe the previous description I had of it was like it has like, it looks like claws, almost like miniature claws or something. So yeah, I want to look up like the history of dragons, or just dragon history or something like that.
Okay.
See if I can find anything out about that.
And Spinks, what are you gonna do?
Wait. I want to probably work on some potion.
Okay. What potions are you planning to work on? Do you already have a list together, or do you want to spend some time thinking about it and then shoot a message to me about what, or shoot a message over Roll20 as to what potions you're going to make?
I'll take a minute to think.
Okay, that's fine. We worked on that list, so you should have a pretty good plan. All right, so Team Library. You guys head on over. When you arrive there, let's go ahead and move us to the Comister Library.
Can we have some small talk
Just
as
as
we
it's
walk through the
closing.
library?
Absolutely. No, not just as it's closing.
Meldronicus, I hope there's no hard feelings about last night.
Feelings are logical, but certain things are logical. There will be consequences. You understand this?
What? What do you mean?
I can't trust you anymore. You understand this, right?
Whoa. I mean, sure, but I'm sure there's a way we could rebuild a rapport.
Certainly. In time and in actions. I can't trust your words anymore.
I think that's fair enough.
All right. As you guys may remember, the library is attached to a temple of Sishat. And inside it is quite a sizable library, matches pretty well to the size of the town itself. And yeah, if you guys are going to spend the day here, there's a couple of ways we can handle this. Either again, we can do the take 20 effect or take 10 effect. Because there is a library available, this library has a substantial amount of information, and so I can either give you one question that you get definitively answered, that can be a more complex question, or two reasonable or minor to moderate questions that can be answered definitively, or you can make a few different checks with a bonus to those checks, taking time out of each one to get it. So there's a chance taking the rolls that you can get more questions answered, but at the same time, you may also infer bad information from what you're reading as well, because you might interpret something incorrectly.
If I'm using the skim, since I prepared that for today, can I get extra information?
Let me see how skim works. I think that is actually sort of a relevant spell here.
yeah, it is. I looked it up
that's a
last time
spell?
he mentioned it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's really good. Because it's like a 0 or first level, right?
It is a first level spell.
I just read 4 times as fast as one.
What? Some cheating. Is that a first level spell?
Yeah, this bonus applies to research checks when you research a particular topic within a library. So yeah, what I'm assuming here is it takes roughly 10 hours to do research on a specific subject to get a definitive answer. So I could see it being possible that that you could probably with this have what is that? 10 divided by 4 is 2.5. So you basically are getting.
I mean, I wouldn't really expect to be conserving my magic, so I'd probably be just doing it throughout the library. And if we get ambushed by a Tarask as we walk out, then it is what it is. But
No, yeah, that's I got him. I mean, if I'm doing that, I'm killing the party anyway.
Yeah, if we get ambushed by a Tarask, I don't think a spell
Yeah.
slot's going to be the best difference between life and death.
I think
Killing
with
the
this,
city.
I'll give you 3 definitive answers.
okay,
If you want 3 definitive, or you can have 3 definitive larger questions answered, or 6 of the minor to moderate questions answered. And bear in mind, there may be subjects that you research where I just tell you you cannot find that information here, and that may be a total loss of time.
sure, that's fine.
So yeah. Do any of you guys already have questions in mind, or?
Had written.
My question is kind of mechanically, since I'm looking at like history stuff, I'm untrained in history. I don't know if this is going to impact my check. But I plan to spend. This is my only plan for today, so spend all day here,
Sure.
trying to learn some stuff. Maybe ask any librarian for help or whatever.
So I guess let me elaborate a bit on how knowledges work with relation to a library.
Okay.
So first of all, you're in a library, so that means you effectively have half a rank in every knowledge, right? Every book that you can imagine, or every book that you probably need, is available to you in some way, shape, or form. So that's going to give you some ability. Part of the idea behind knowledge to me when you're in a library is that there's a chance the books are there and the chance there are books there that aren't there. So you may end up doing a knowledge check failing just because the book either isn't there or in this library at that time, or maybe the book just isn't there in general. Maybe the book doesn't exist in this particular library, etc. So when you ask your question, when we do the question asking, it needs to be relevant to your topic. So if you're going to come up with a question, like, decide on what you want it to be. If you want to try to see how much general information about a subject you can get with a roll, you still need to come up with like a sort of specific question that you're asking, or at least a specific, like, this is the specific information I want to get. So if you want like general world history, you can get a general world history, but it's going to be limited on stuff. So you'd want to probably drill it down to something more specific. And then I can give you kind of what that general history is. But what I'm going to do is kind of tally up what your total knowledge bonus in that would be, and then tell you, like, okay, this is what you would know from that knowledge check, as if you had rolled a 20.
All right.
So I would know my first question. It probably informs my other ones.
Okay. Real quick, while we're doing this as well, Tom, since you're going to be in the bar drinking a lot, I'm going to say there's probably a lot of information you're going to overhear. So periodically, if we can do this the same way as the reading, if you're going to be in that bar the whole day just trying to like kind of drown away your sorrows, you may end up picking up on some stuff. So if there's kind of one specific thing you want to know about this wizard, or like a couple of minor things you want to know, it's very likely you'll have picked it up. So we'll use your perception to kind of identify what it is that you could get answered or not answered about it. Does that sound reasonable?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. All right, so it sounded like, Dan, you already had a question?
So I would like to see if I can identify around what time were the first documented cases of these enlarged animals appearing, the magical ones specifically.
Okay, and that is... I'll bring up your sheet real quick. All right, so it's going to be based basically on your knowledge history, which you have, and your knowledge nature, sort of in conjunction. All right, so the earliest accounts of these creatures starting to sort of become larger actually dates back quite a few hundred years. There was a long time ago, this country was not the country of RA4. This country was run by a king, and that king had an advisor. And when the king died, the advisor took his place. The advisor had plans to create a better military, but it involved bringing in a large influx of magic to the country. He spent a lot of time like making sure that ley lines were kind of bent to move throughout specific key places within the country of RE4, or at that time it was called Stavine. The lines that run through, many of them connect together to lots of intersection points called nexi. In these points, he fabricated these places where he would create experiments with creatures to enhance their magical qualities. It is from around that time that some of these subjects broke loose, started mating, started feeding off of some of the other subjects that broke loose, and like the survival of of each animal population kind of depended upon that mating structure. And so over time, the general animal population became significantly more powerful than they were before. And already the animals were a bit of a problem for merchants, but nothing like a handful of bodyguards could probably keep a cart pretty safe. But as time went on, like the creatures grew substantially greater in power, especially since as well more threats existed that they would have to overcome. So kind of a natural survival of the fittest plan sort of set into place, and that's been like quite a few hundreds of years.
Okay.
It looks like roughly greater than about 600 years.
Can you add me a handout in Roll20, in just like a journal that I can edit?
Yes, absolutely.
Just so I can keep all my stuff so you can see it too.
No problem.
Okay, so that answers. I thought I would need 2 questions to also get the event relevant.
No, that kind of wraps in with it.
Okay.
It's hard to tell you one without the other. So.
Okay, then I will keep thinking on my other question.
Okay.
In character, you better buy a journal.
What's that?
In character, you better buy a journal now, because you're getting a journal in Roll20.
Oh.
Can you just type things into Oh yeah, in the descriptions and notes section.
Yeah. So when he dies, we can pull this off his body and read all his personal notes.
Yes.
It's nothing. It's nothing to do with my feelings. It's legit just like analysis, essentially. It's like a thesis. God, I guess it's me.
All right, you now have Maldro notes.
Great.
Maldronakis?
Maldro notes. That is what would happen if the apostrophe were in a different place. All right, anybody got their next question?
I do if
Okay.
Cassius isn't ready.
I mean, I'm ready, but it don't make me no never mind on which order we go in.
Are you doing one big question or 2 small to moderate questions?
Me or
Ari. I'll do Ari's first since he spoke up first.
Oh, okay. Sorry, there he is.
that's fine.
I have 2 semi-moderate questions or whatever information I can give you.
I'll be back in a sec.
No problem.
Okay.
All right, go ahead.
So my first question would be, or what I'm trying to figure out would be I want to find a book on the history of blue dragons, specifically, so generally, the history of blue dragons, and then specifically, like, basically I'm trying to figure out how this toy is speaking to me. Like, is there some sort of, like, ancestral relation I might have, or I don't know if that's too meta to think of that, but I would think of, like, is a blue dragon able to speak through a vessel or something like that? Like, is something going on like that?
Okay.
Something like that. Like the abilities of blue dragons, I guess.
Okay. So unfortunately, technically, both questions you're asking are actually larger level questions. So which one do you think Arius is gonna focus on more first?
Oh, I thought that would be like one big question.
No, dragons are super rare. So in order to find information about dragons, you're gonna have to reference quite a few books to get there. And the same thing with when you get to kind of this weird type of arcana. There doesn't seem to be a lot of books that kind of talk about, the supernatural or about like animated objects. You can look into like golemology, but that it's not necessarily in those books. You can flip through a few of them and find like nothing real unless it's like a basic animated object. But there is I will tell you that you can find information on either one of them if you spend the time researching. And this is actually something that, while we're on this topic, I do want to bring up. You guys are given some downtime, so you guys can use that time to do research as things come up. And we can have that happen throughout the sessions. So don't be worried, like, if you don't keep following quest lines, like, you're not going to get XP or whatever. We can obviously, do certain things in bursts kind of like this.
Okay, so the first thing I'd want to focus on is, I guess, just blue dragons in general.
Okay.
Like their history, and then if I had time that day, I would want to focus on like what this toy could be if it's related to blue dragons and stuff like that.
Okay. All right, so you spend a lot more time than you expect, like trying to find information about blue dragons.
Okay.
You can find like very minor notes on different colors of dragons that have existed. However, most of the text that you keep finding all keeps repeating the same thing. Dragons don't exist. Dragons don't exist. Dragons haven't existed for a long time. Some books even saying that dragons were just myths. Dragons never existed. People made them up as like one of those, the big scary thing has to fight the weak thing, and then the weak thing overcomes the big scary thing. What's more scary than like an advanced style of lizard that can breathe these fires or lightnings or what have you. But then you come across a book that you don't expect to have the information you're looking for, but you're like kind of grasping at straws. And it's a book about the city of, or about the what is now City of Dragon's Cove. And in it, it talks about a specific person from Dragon's Cove. A person by the name of Rezix the Rhino Rampage. And initially that book doesn't say too much. It says that like Rezix is this big hero of Dragon's Cove. Rezix did all these great things. And you can't but you don't see much about dragons. Like, it's said that Dragon's Cove is named because once upon a time dragons lived in Dragon's Cove, and so they named the cove after the dragons because it's the hiding place of the dragons that existed in the country. But like, there's no confirmation of that in anything. But as you're kind of wandering about the library, you come across a specific area that's a little bit different than you would expect. Give me a spellcraft check as you come across this part of the library. Okay. You're not really sure what's going on with this part, but this part of the library seems a bit warped in a way. Like, it still looks like it's clearly part of the library. It still has like books on shelves, but the floor is a little bit different. You kind of move into a hallway that, like, as you walk towards it, just feels different, and the lighting is different. And the books don't seem to, like, sit on the shelves quite the same way as the other shelves. But what would Arius's thought process be, seeing, like, a section of the library that looks completely different than the rest of the library?
First thought would be it's clearly some either restricted material or material that's like advanced or something like that.
Okay.
I want to say like magical, but I don't know if anything with that check, anything jumps up as magical to me.
With that check, I
mean, I am a sorcerer.
You think it could be. Like, a 10 is enough to postulate that there's probably some kind of magic working in this section of the library, but what you're not quite sure of.
Right.
Do you think Arius would ask anybody else about it, or do you think you just venture in?
I think I would just venture in.
Okay.
From right there.
So
unless there's like signs or something that say like warning or something.
Nope. You take a few steps across the threshold, and you feel like something kind of tugs at you as you cross the line from one segment of the library into the other. And you're standing there looking at a series of books. And all of these books have handwriting on the edges of the books themselves. And they have various different names on each of the books. And you pick up one that says Rezix the Rhino Rampage. And you pick it up.
Spelling on Rezix?
Rezzi. I think he decided to spell with 3 X's in the very end.
Probably.
Yeah,
That sounds like a Justin thing.
Wait, REZZIXXX.
Yes.
Okay. All right.
Rezix the Rhino Rampage.
All right.
And you can bring that book back to the... So, like, first of all, you turn, and you notice that you can't, like... You don't see anything else in the rest of the library anymore. When you're standing here, like, any of the patrons, any of the rest of the books that were on the shelves, you don't see any of those things in that library. You're just here in this other segment of the library. But as you cross back over, everything kind of becomes visible to you again.
Does the book come with me?
The book comes with you.
Pull it through?
Yep.
Okay.
You do notice, though, that the book feels like it's being pulled back, though, as you carry it. And it has a slight, like, flicker to it. Like, almost as if it's phasing in and out of existence.
Ooh. Okay.
So you get back to the table, and you open up the book, and you set it down in front of you, and you start, like, paging through this book. And it talks about this person, Rezix the Rhino Rampage, and his tale of, like, traveling with this group. One of the people from the group betrays him. He, like, journeys way off, to kind of find himself again. And one day he comes back to heroically, like, save and lead this group of people. But inevitably, like, he has to give himself up to a trio of dragons. One of which is a elder blue dragon. And for a few brief moments in his servitude to this blue dragon, you can see, like, the penmanship changes, sort of. Let me see what, I'm gonna check your character sheet for something real quick. Give me a sense motive.
Okay.
Okay. Something does seem very weird about this, but with a 14, you're not exactly sure how this is different. You know it's different because it looks almost like somebody else has picked up the pen, but something seems different and similar at the same time. The story starts to talk about, like, what the dragons could do and what the dragons would have him do for them. He was enlisted to help them sire a lineage, a line of people that would be dedicated protectors to the dragons of Dragon's Cove. Each of the dragons had their own unique abilities. The green dragon had the ability to spit acid or create noxious vapors around an area around it. And he recalls, like, how difficult it would be to breathe when he would walk in. But the other dragons seemed to have almost no care for the mist that filled the air around them. The blue dragon would constantly speak, and little bolts of lightning would, like, flare up from its jowls as it would talk to him, whether in dragon form or in human form. The lightning was always crackling somewhere around there.
Wait, it says or in human form, so that they could transform between both?
Yes.
Okay.
The same with the red dragon, but fire. And the red dragon was a very showy kind of dragon. There was regularly, like, fire in his eyes, fire in his mouth, drips of, like, molten magma would fall from his lips as he spoke. And when he would turn back to human form, bits of fire would spit from his, from bits of, like, flames would come out as spittle from his mouth when he would talk. Their scales were very, very tough. And he recounts that in their human form, they would demand he bring them numerous young, impressionable women so that they might continue their lineage in the only form they might have left. And he did as they asked of him, because he had no choice. This was the only way he could keep his friends safe. His time with them was comparatively short. The dragons did nothing to extend his life or to make the quality of his life much better. He remained a servant, fighting a number of battles that he wished not to participate in, keeping the dragons safe from any potential problems that could befall the city, always keeping the secret that the dragons were there. Always private, always secret. The cove would be forever hidden, no one would find it, and anyone who would seek to find it would not last long, for one of the Rampage family would inevitably bring them to a swift doom. He recounts quite a bit about the Blue Dragons, to a point that I believe... Let me double check something. Oh, I actually... I don't have it next to me right now. Annoying. You would be able to, at this point, know everything there is to know about a blue dragon.
When you say that, I guess you just mean like anything I can find on like a blue dragon on like related to Pathfinder, I would know in character now or whatever.
Yeah, basically anything about the abilities or weaknesses of blue dragons, you would know. And you have a good visual description for like what a dragon looks like and the things that a dragon can do.
Okay, and just to clarify, Rezik's time, was that like 300 years ago, 100 years ago? When was his time?
Rezik's time was...
Or I don't know if it would mention.
That was it's somewhere between about 200 and 300 years ago.
300.
Yeah. I don't have the exact time on me. It might have been... I think it's actually between 150 and 250 years.
Okay.
It's Rezik's time.
Rezik's time. Okay. Interesting.
But yeah, as soon as you finish the book, as soon as you either take eyes off of or hands off of, as soon as neither your hands nor your eyes are on the book will return to where you got it from. And you will no longer have access to that area for the remainder of the day. It's just gone. Like, you go back to that area, and it's not there.
Wait, the book's not there?
The area is not there.
Oh, the actual area where I went to.
There's just a wall that's there.
Okay. Just for the record or whatever, before, like, I guess yesterday, could I have bought, speaking of journals to buy for your character, could I have bought something so I'm, like, taking notes so I don't, like...
Yeah, that's fine. You all could have decided to pick something up along the way to the library to take notes.
Okay.
Do you want me to give you the same thing I gave Mal?
I mean, I'm just taking my notes outside a game. I can put it in game if you want.
That's fine. It doesn't matter whether it's in game or out of game to me. It's sometimes better if I have them in game or in some method where I can go over them. But I mean, I also at this point have video stuff about it. So I have the unlimited record, which was the biggest reason I wanted to start streaming this stuff.
Yeah, it's really helpful just to have it all right there.
Yep.
Okay, I guess you could go to someone else, but just for the record, I'd want to ask the librarian or any staff in this library, like what that's about. But other than
you ask about that section,
yeah, like why did it disappear, or like what?
What are you talking about? We only have the sections we have. If you believe you went into some special section, perhaps the shot found it important to bless you with some kind of information.
Okay.
Maybe she values someone maybe she values you or someone close to you enough that she feels like the information is worth having.
Have you heard stories of this before? People finding sections that you know do not exist here?
There are tales from time to time, not necessarily here, but typically it happens in Chrysaisen. A group will come in, or a person will come in looking for a specific topic, and a special section of the library might open to them. And sometimes it will have a keeper, sometimes there will be no keeper. But there will always be an unexpected answer that they can find there. But it's very rare. So if you found it, it is a great blessing to you.
All right. Is there like a out of character? Is there like is there like a place? Because this you said it was connected to the temple, right?
Mm-hmm.
Is there like a collection bin or a donation bin or something?
If you go back towards the temple, yeah, there's a point where the library does go straight back out into the temple, and you can go over there if you wanted to give a donation.
Yeah. So the last thing I'll do, I guess, is I'll just I'll go find that collection box, drop 5 gold in, and say like a thank you prayer to Shasat, assuming that she had bestowed this for me or something.
Give me a knowledge religion.
Okay. And that will be untrained.
Yep, that's fine.
Not trained in religious matters. Ooh.
Okay. Your blessing is accepted, and you will not feel hungry for the remainder of the day.
Ooh, nice.
All right. So Cassius.
All right. So, when we had Sphinx, kind of, like do her ghost thing on the items. What do I remember of the Wayfinder? There was a small part where there was something that should be there, or was that?
There's a place for an Ioun stone where an Ioun stone could be. That's not there.
Okay. I thought there was something else. I can't remember offhand. I wish I would have written it down.
In this case, I'm playing it to your character's memory.
Damn, my memory is trash.
That's what notes are for.
You're a note.
No.
Am I allowed to give?
This
Am
is
I
a
allowed
note.
to say anything?
What about?
Yes, if you remember something.
What if I do one of these?
Not with the 9 though. You're not allowed to.
Wasn't there some sort of magic on it? Like it was trying to trying to find someone itself.
Yeah, I remember there was that, but I don't remember. Like if we found out anything specific about that. I thought there was something about something from another plane, but that might have been one of the other items.
I don't know, just make up what you think and maybe Steve won't notice.
I think.
Yes, and then
idea.
when I go back and I watch the video, it definitely won't be a problem. Or if I already do know, and I'm just fucking with Ryan, because normally he takes notes, and it's fun to pick on like one character he has that isn't taking notes.
Oh, that's nice that you. Well, my characters normally take notes. That's nice. I was gonna say that's nice that you think that I normally take notes. I'm very bad with that.
I mean, historically, Kandor was like one of the best note-taking characters I had, next to Pete in that one game where he took literally every note he could possibly take. Yet all of it was illegible. So.
What were you gonna say, Michelle? Sorry.
I think it was that like on like the ghost or spirit plane that there was like some sort of magical like ghostly object in that slot.
That's what I thought, but I wasn't sure if that was mine or somebody else's. But since I can't remember,
yours.
Yeah, since I can't remember anything else about any of the other items, I'm going to assume it was mine. So I'm gonna look up, try to look up things about. Is the ghost plane like the ethereal plane? Is that the same thing?
The ethereal plane is the plane that ghosts are traditionally attached to.
Okay, I'm gonna. You said we could get like 2 kind of broad questions. Okay, I was gonna I was gonna look up some information. Well, yeah, I guess I was gonna look up mostly information about like the ethereal plane.
Okay.
And see if there's anything that I could that would jog my memory.
You want to do this as general information about the ethereal plane.
Well, I wanted to. I guess I would like to look up some more like in-depth information, but
well, in-depth information is the difference between minor and major.
Yeah, because there was like there was I guess one of two other things that I wanted to do. One of which is I wanted to see if there was a written alphabet for Draconic.
Okay.
And if there is, I wanted to kind of like if there was like a translation, like from Common to Draconic, or any kind of like information.
That there are such books for that. That is a rudimentary thing to find.
So that would it be like a big book, or would it be just like something
it's a pretty sizable book.
Okay. And
the Draconic language is much more complicated than Common, so there are words in Draconic that don't have exact correlations in Common.
That makes sense. I guess I'll grab one of those books and bring it with me, and then start looking up stuff about the ethereal plane.
Okay. So with what you have in Knowledge of the Planes, a lot of this is pretty hard to digest. So just so you're aware. But,
my zero knowledge of the planes.
Yeah. A pretty base understanding of the ethereal plane is that you'll actually read a little bit about two planes, the astral and the ethereal plane. It's believed that the ethereal plane is the plane where souls with no destination pass on to when they die. A soul that knows its destination will pass on to the astral plane, and that will give them access to the celestial plane, the plane at which all of the deities are said to come from.
So it's kind of like a limbo?
The ethereal plane is very similar to a limbo. It is so a lot of things exist on the ethereal plane, not just spirits. But in the ethereal plane is the only way to get to what would be the natural other layer, which you don't really. This is where stuff starts to get weird. There's something about like the life expectancy of a soul. Like there is an ultimate destination for a soul, but that ultimate for a lost soul, but that destination isn't necessarily. It's not an end, but it is an end. So they talk about kind of the life expectancy of a soul in this kind of weird way, and a plane that exists beneath the ethereal plane that they refer to as it's some word in a language you don't understand. But it's this word plane. I don't have the word on hand.
Okay. I was gonna say, like, could I write that down?
Yeah, you can write that down. I don't remember what the word is.
Okay, I'll try to like write down some like key terms, not necessarily what they mean, for sake of time, but like kind of things to look into a little more in depth later.
But essentially, the astral and ethereal plane act as kind of barriers between two alternating sides of the universe. Are two alternating sides of existence. The plane of the gods, and sort of like the best you can explain it is like the plane of the dead. It's like the place where souls will end up one day. But again, it's not like an end, and they are not really there when they get there. Something else happens to them that doesn't make a lot of sense entirely. Something like it almost sounds like they're being reprocessed or something like that into something else, but like that doesn't make a lot of sense. In the ethereal plane, you have the ability to sort of reach into either one of the two planes and potentially perceive things in between the two planes. And some people might innately, or some very powerful magic users, might gain the ability to perceive into these two planes, or even move into these two planes.
Now, when you say the two planes, you mean like the astral plane and the physical plane?
The astral and the astral and ethereal plane.
Oh, excellent. Okay.
Yeah. So like a person might be able to use spells to move themselves into the astral or ethereal, or to see into one of those two planes. Or someone with special abilities might be able to see into the ethereal plane inherently.
Okay.
Traditionally, objects in the ethereal plane aren't always visible to people on the material plane, especially if they are bound more closely to another plane, or they are deeply like linked to the ethereal plane. It's why most people can't see spirits that move about. They are bound to the ethereal plane. On the ethereal plane, it is known that distance and the movement of magic don't function the same way as they do on the material plane. Some objects can move across the ethereal plane much more rapidly than they could on the material plane if they're interacting with the lines of magic that run throughout the world. The book speculates that the ethereal plane might actually be the plane that is the closest to where the magic comes from. So if you move into the ethereal plane, that is sort of like you getting closer to the source of arcane magic. And like moving into the astral plane is you getting closer to the source of divine magic.
Okay, that makes sense.
So information or movement can happen more regularly if you're detached from a material form. You can move along the magic as if you were kind of the magic itself.
Now, does it mention? There's a couple of things that if I come across it, I'd kind of like want to look into a little more. One of which is, does it say anything about the ethereal plane? So, like when Sphinx sees the ghosts, my best assumption is that she would just be able to just see them in our plane, right? Like it would just kind of be like
there's not really an answer to what Sphinx does in any of these books.
Well, I just was wondering if there was like, if it was like kind of overlapping with the material plane.
You can theorize, but all it really would be in this case is theory.
Okay, yeah. If I come across anything that would lead me down that path, I'll kind of look into it a little more. Also, if there's any mention of like ley lines or how magic moves, if it like
it'll mention that ley lines are the lines that carry magic, and it's believed that that's the lines that kind of objects move upon while they're in the ethereal plane.
Okay, and if it mentions anything about did I remember? Did I? Okay, like I don't remember if I was the one that heard anything about them shaping the. No, that was No, I think that was Mal. When they were shaping the ley lines.
Yep, that was in Mal's in the stuff Mal asked.
Okay, then I guess I wouldn't actively be seeking that, but if I come across something about that,
no, there's nothing going to be about that in this. So you just get a pretty good amount of information about the ethereal plane from that.
Okay, I'll just kind of copy down some keywords and take notes about things to look into maybe next time. Okay. Maybe look into a little more.
Okay, and then Zeke. Have you come up with any questions?
Yeah, sure. What things has Dude done to people that he wrote or got in his book?
Okay. So this is actually something that you can glean from like a little bit of like just periodically, you might go sit down at a different table as you notice like magic users have come in. You'll notice like somebody carrying a spell book, or with like you've seen enough magic people that you're kind of used to looking for certain things. And you'll kind of overhear people talk about like the punishments for, because I'm assuming you're asking like what happens if somebody breaks the rules that he has, mm-hmm. Right? That's your question?
Yep.
It talks largely of like most of the attempts failing when the person like gets there and begins to utter the words. Something like changes in their mind, and they just kind of turn and leave. And many of them, like, forget quite a bit more than they probably should. It's suddenly like somebody, like, cheese, like, not cheese grated, but like somebody Swiss cheese their brain. You know, like, there's just tons and tons of holes in their memories now. And it takes them quite some time to, like, build back some of what they remember. But none of them ever seem to remember him anymore, nor do they remember, nor can they even, like, interact with the bookstore in the same way. Something seems to, like, kind of either stop them from seeing it, maybe, or maybe there's just something that happens in their head if they get too close to it. That's not really clear. You just know that, like, people, some of the people talk about, like, people never going back. And then Mal, your next question, you got it?
Yeah. Can I find anything on I guess essentially if you can get a sample of a type of magic, is there a way to, at a large scale, begin to eradicate sources of that magic?
Like, what do you mean by a sample of a type of magic?
If I can, say if I was able to get a residue from animal that has been affected by these ley lines or anything of that sort, could I collectively begin using those to pinpoint the stronger roots of where this magic is coming from? And if so, is there a way to undo what's been done?
Okay,
or is
see here. Okay, so you would be able to discern that the answer to this is a sort of yes and no. There is a very, very hard to read book called Lines and How They... Or, what the fuck was the title of this book? Fuck. I'll have to give you the title at some other point. But it's written by a man by the name of Artemis Abrams. And it talks a lot about how ley lines are very complex things, but you can find things if you know how to tap into the magic beneath them, if the things themselves are magical in nature. But when you do that, you are putting yourself at personal risk. And he references, like, scrying is the obvious one. Everybody knows that when you scry, you can find certain things by scrying. But he goes a little bit further than this to explain that, like, you can take certain combinations of spells and you can literally, like, search the ley lines for patterns of people. So, like, if you have a general idea of, like, a spellcaster with these spells that they've cast over time that has been around these areas, you can deeply scrub the lines for, like, where they are, and maybe additional detail about other things they've cast. Sometimes ley lines leave residue of what's been done in a place with magic for some amount of time. So you can almost create a history of action from the lines themselves. And you can identify, like, for example, the number of spellcasters that all happen to have a specific spell, or the number of creatures that are currently being affected by, or the number of, like, weapons currently being affected by, shocking or flaming or whatever else, like, kind of magics on their weapons. You won't necessarily, like, dependent upon what you query and how much energy you put into it, you might not necessarily get a perfectly exact number or the locations of all of these things, but you can discern bits and pieces of greater information the deeper you are willing to try to touch the source of magic, especially at a nexus location. And he theorizes this could go even deeper, like if you have animals or other creatures that have been tainted by magic, like those who exist in the sorceress bloodline or the warlock bloodline, that these people might have such deep ties to magical energy that you might be able to identify and potentially start to change the way that magic itself in an area might interact with these people. And if you have enough magical energy, maybe even interact with all of the people that have some sort of connection to this and sort of change the shape of the world. But he theorizes that magic like that likely doesn't exist. And if it does, anybody using it would either go entirely mad, so profoundly mad that they would lose track of reality in and of itself and should probably be closed off from normal society as a whole, or they would be instantly obliterated in the action and erased from potentially even time itself.
Okay. And my third question is, are there any authors that, presumably a lot of these books might be written by similar people? They have more than one book. Are there any books that evidently, if you go through them chronologically, appears to be someone losing their mind?
So there actually, since you picked up an Artemis Abrams book, you will notice that he does have a couple of other works on the shelves, and his books definitely get more and more odd, especially just the book you just read, the book on the ley lines. The deeper into the book you get, the weirder and weirder it gets. And then when you start kind of thinking I wonder if this is a pattern, you notice something kind of twinkle in the corner of your eye, and there's a section of the library that wasn't there before. Give me a spellcraft.
Hey, that's my good one.
It's all erotic poetry. Ooh.
Maybe it is.
You can't crit fail in Pathfinder and skill checks, so...
You can't, but an 11's still not enough to really know exactly what's going on. But there is a totally different looking section of library, just like I described to Arius, that is suddenly in your vision.
Doesn't seem interesting. I go home.
Yeah. I proceed in.
Okay. There are books here with lots and lots and lots of different names on them. So this is the one thing that you notice as you look across all these books is that the handwriting on the edge of each of the books is the same. All these books, none of these books have etching. All the rest of the books would have etching into the side. These are all handwritten. Somebody has just written a name down on the side of each of these books. And there is a very large quantity of these books that are being kept in this room. But they all have various different people's names on them. And you can give me a perception, if you don't mind.
Here's my nat 1, so this can't be much.
Okay. On a 20, you will notice that there is a book with your name on it.
Got him.
I open the book.
When you go to pick up the book, you can't touch the book. Nope.
Nope. Fucks up the timeline. You can't do it.
It will not let you touch the book. However, next to your book is an Arius book, and a Jack, and a Zeke book, and a Sphinx book.
Oh, man.
And when you look at the Cassius book, something about it looks very weird. It is flickering in and out of existence as you look at it.
Oh, which one would I... Actually, I have in-character reasons to want to read Cassius's book the most. So I would read
nothing strange
Cassius's.
about that.
Okay. Give me a will save as you pick up the Cassius book. Okay. You pick up the Cassius book, and in your head for a moment, you hear like the most bizarre sound ever. Oh, put me down! And you can carry the Cassius book out of the room.
Oh, baby.
I'm not sure if I like that out of character. That doesn't sound good for our hero.
Okay, well, aside from that amazing thing, just one last easy question. Artemis Abrams, does he ever mention his race? And would I be able to discern? He was a human.
He was a human.
And these books seem like well beyond the human life expectancy.
Oh yeah, there's so many books here. Like, either somebody was like able to watch all these people at the same time and write down notes, or like somebody has lived for a long time and has been following around a lot of people throughout time.
Yeah. No, I don't mean this magical whatever.
Oh, I'm sorry.
That
okay.
is. I'm just saying specifically Artemis Abrams. Would I deduce that he's probably dead?
It is. So you notice that his books stop existing at a certain point.
Right.
So he is likely dead.
Okay, that was my last. Okay. So then I take Cassius' book and I begin stabbing. No, I'm just.
Why does my chest hurt?
Interesting.
All right. So you take Cassius's book out and you set it down on the table.
Yeah, I would look around.
Okay. Now there's a very strong possibility of something happening here. So Cassius, I'm gonna need you to give me a perception, and you kind of want to fail this.
Well, it's a good thing I have a +7 to that and crit.
You cannot not notice that he has put a book down on the table that has on the rim of it Cassius.
Maybe it's a different one. Does he have the same last name?
He has Cassius King.
Ah, shit.
And it's like it is like
Kings,
blinking in and out of reality. You're fine.
I'm gonna kind of like try to nonchalantly kind of like is it open or?
He hasn't opened it yet. He's just gotten it back to the table and he's like getting ready to open it.
I'm gonna try to like inconspicuously read over his shoulder.
Okay. I'm gonna need you to give me a will save.
I'm gonna die from reading my own future, aren't I?
Just time to get your sanity score.
Yes.
Okay.
Why? Wow.
Congratulations. Well, you do not lose any sanity. You have earned a sanity score.
Damn it.
Yet another one of your characters has touched Kandor in some way.
Oh no.
You will not need to take the sensitive feat any further. You are treated as though you have the sensitive feat.
Hooray.
For those of us that aren't familiar with what this all means, what is this?
Okay, so the sensitive... So this is a little hard to explain, and I don't want to ruin some of the story behind a lot of stuff that's gone on with Ryan's historical characters.
Well, what it means is that I'm not crazy. I'm just a little unwell.
So, but the sensitive feat gives you the ability to...
I got you.
The sensitive feat gives you the ability to kind of see things that might not otherwise be noticeable by everybody else. It's kind of like the GM gives you this, like, GM sense.
Okay.
But it's at a cost of, like, your brain is recognizing things that don't naturally make sense. And so little bits of your brain kind of chip out as you start noticing these things. It is largely because you're not supposed to be able to see the pages of your own book. And you've made the will save. You can continue to read along with this book just fine. This book tells the story of Cassius King. Up until the current day. And you can basically know the history of Cassius King almost as if you were like watching Cassius King from birth to the current moment in his life, where Cassius King is reading over the shoulder of Maldronicus and is feeling bits of his brain starts to tick away. Give me a will save.
Did I notice anything about when I woke up in that cave?
Yes.
Oh, good. Man, I'm the best at all the saves. Suck it,
Glad
nerds.
you needed a 30.
Okay, so you're still
Yeah,
going
the
to
book
take
with my
1 point of
+1.
sanity damage, which remember, sanity
Okay.
is 5 times your wisdom bonus or your wisdom score.
Yeah, I've got 49 sanity.
Okay.
I don't know where to mark that though.
Put it in. Let's see.
Skills?
No, go ahead and put it under your senses.
My senses?
Yeah, just write in there sanity, and then what the current score is.
No.
It's on the main. It's on the main page. It's down above your languages.
Oh yeah, sure is.
So,
Hooray!
without turning around, I creepily just say, "Have a seat, Cassius."
Okay.
I know you're behind me. I didn't see you.
A very interesting thing though about that incident with the mummies, like when in the cave with the mummies, is that there's like a whole section that's in there that for some reason has been redacted.
Like all the parts of it that I don't remember.
Yes.
How convenient. Ew.
But it looked like as you were reading it, it was being redacted. Like, because you were reading over Mal's shoulder, it was being redacted as you were reading it.
Damn.
So, Mal, you can give me a perception to have tried to have read ahead of him.
I had the skim skill active.
Ooh.
Oh, you
That is
did
true.
have the skim skill active. Okay. So you would definitely have gotten the information before the information would have been fully redacted. So there's going to be some...
I was probably turning pages so fast that he was like not able to keep up, so he's just grabbing words off the page.
There's probably like a few sentences he gets before you flip the next page and then flip the next page.
Yeah.
Which is probably how he manages to like keep his brain from completely frying at all the information.
That's how I
he's
only took a
encountering.
1 damage.
But yeah, so there's going to be stuff that will come up that may come up later, and that information will be useful. But for now, like, you know, relatively all of Cassius King's life.
So I'm gonna sit down. Huh.
I close the book and I look across the table.
Okay, the book is gone at that point when you close the book.
And I say, "You've had an interesting life, Mr. Cassius."
Huh.
And but it's interesting. Your decisions.
I'm gonna reach over and try to touch the book.
The book is gone.
It's gone.
Oh yeah. Because he took his hand off it, right?
Yep, he closed the book and he took his hand off of it.
Your decisions seem to reflect an interesting, let's call it a balance, where some things you have done for interesting purposes, but I believe most of them I could see coming from the perspective of someone who wants to change the world for the better. Would you say this is an accurate description of yourself?
Huh. I mean, I suppose, if it were one way or the other, I would.
I think in general, it would just seem that you, like me, have been around a lot of questionable people. But perhaps I could serve as a compass to you, if you would.
Like a wayfinder in the night.
That's triggering. Does his face change?
No,
Better
his
not be
face
a
does
dream.
not change.
I'll check my wayfinder.
Your wayfinder is pointing at him. It keeps pointing at him.
I'm gonna walk around him.
It continues to point at him. And then it goes back to pointing north again.
I'm gonna poke the spot where the ion stone's supposed to be?
It suddenly starts pointing southwest.
Ah! I'm gonna stop doing that.
It goes back to pointing north.
Oh, that's not good. Something's tracking me. That's probably what's happening with that.
I would take out your map, Cassius. And I sort of can you show the world map for a sec?
Yeah, absolutely. Oh, let me change one thing real quick. Just stop something from happening. Okay.
I would point and I would say, presently, do you care if I draw on this just for a moment?
I'll erase.
Okay.
Actually, yeah, go ahead. I think I can grab specific things. Hopefully.
Is there like an undo button?
No,
I can
not
delete.
really.
I can delete them myself, and I can't control anything else in the map.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
I'll just
Okay.
I would say currently we are here, correct?
Yeah.
And from what I've read in this book, this compass seems to point currently in this direction. Yes.
Is it where is it? Is it more like that, or was it more like was it more through this?
So when you
Or-
were looking at it in your dream,
I think in my dream it looked like it might have been like more like, but it might have also been because we were where we were that it might have been more like this, but I'm not sure.
right? If I'm not mistaken, you last looked at it in Lukill.
I believe so.
And
I thought it went through Aquasant Dragon's Cove.
yes, the line draws through like the almost. It's here. Hold on. Let me use this tool. So it is somewhere about this area. Like it's very difficult to be exactly sure.
Right.
But it's roughly this area. And if you're looking at it from Kminster, it's roughly this area.
Okay.
So being in Kminster gives you the ability to take a little bit off, like you know it's not further north. And
it's not over here.
No,
This
it's definitely not in Matheria.
This would be exactly what Meldronix is essentially trying to say to you. He's like, and when we were here, this pointed here. Do you understand?
Mm-hmm.
So if we say went to Chrysizen, I just point to Chrysizen.
I do like Chrysizen.
Potentially, this compass would point, and I would say, it could point in a lot of many ways. It could point here. It could point here. But eventually, the wider we go and the more we travel, the more precisely we can pinpoint what it is.
Where it's pointing.
Do you understand?
Yeah, it also points when I do this.
Mm-hmm.
That's good.
And I'm
That
going to
means-
put my finger in it. It's going to point southwest again,
Yep,
right?
it is.
That means you can detail these directions without needing to go into these, I guess I would call them dream states that you go into.
Oh, yeah, trust me, those aren't intentional.
But I can help you. I can help you find this. But at the moment, I need your promise that if I help you do this, that if something happens to me, you will carry out what are my desires with this Aerofor force that we are commanding. Can you do that?
Suppose. Once I find out what your intentions with my army are.
I mean, they're very simple. I want an alliance with my Crimson Brotherhood, and I do not want these wilds to be poached and destroyed.
Mark this down in my notebook.
Those would be my requests, and if you can honor these requests, I'm prepared to anoint you as my second in command.
Seems simple enough.
I know I can trust you because I know everything about you.
Well, that makes one of us.
He just nods contemplatively.
Even in that little blacked out part. I mean, it was obvious he was reading faster than me, right?
Oh yeah.
You don't want to know what happened. Not yet.
It was really bad. It would actually give you some grounds for being a little bit worried about Cassius.
Right. But there's enough good. There's enough good in there that I also believe I can sculpt you. I can draw you away from that desire, or whatever brought you there.
Wasn't it like he routed himself?
Wasn't it? Wasn't it an army mission that brought me there?
That was the mission. That's what brought you. Well, sort of. You weren't supposed to go there. You guys were going in there to hide out from something that was chasing you, and then everything kind of went south.
Okay, I just wanted to make sure. I was like, wait a minute, did he grammatically say that he was going to bring me away from the army? What's happening? But no, that makes more sense.
No, he's referencing whatever happened in that circumstance.
Yep. It's probably bad.
Extend my hand.
All right.
So be it, Lieutenant.
So, Zeke, one last question for you.
Yeah, I want to know some of the people who got their memory erased.
Oh, you won't be able to get any names. That would be like a very significant question.
Gotcha.
Got another one, maybe?
Well, that was the one I was thinking about.
Okay.
If I name my book A Half-Orc's Tale, is that too Tolkien?
I don't know. The book isn't really going to get published, so I think you're okay.
Oh, don't you worry. I'm getting this published.
Look, if you actually get a book about my world published, I would love that, because there was supposed to be one that was going to get published, and then I don't even know if I would retain rights in a legal battle for it. So at this point, so Sphinx, how about them potions? Or are you okay? You're not frozen. Are you frozen? No, you're just a little laggy.
Who are you talking about?
Sphinx.
Oh.
How about them potions? You got a list?
Alright, so I was thinking I was going to make a mage armor, a Hermian potential, and a nature's pack.
Okay. And you have the money for all those?
Yep.
Okay. Then you can easily make those.
Alright.
All seem like useful to the party spells.
Now an easy to carry potion form. Now I just have to do my...
Yep. Well, it's on that spreadsheet we did, so...
Well, I mean, math. My gold.
Yeah.
Like...
Alright, so that will take us through everybody's day at this point. Tom, if you come up with another question, just...
Oh, sure.
Yeah.
Does he, like, associate with, like, any religions or guilds or anything?
So yes, he is a member of, the Merchants Council. You'll know that, like, while he serves on the council, he is not one of the higher seats. He's one of the lower seats on the Merchants Council. So he really only has he is allowed to give speeches and opinions, but he is not allowed voting rights on the Merchants Council. Many people he's had many opportunities, like, to have gotten a voting position, but he has declined, like, every time someone has tried to step up and give him such position. He doesn't seem to want anything to do with, like, having a voting position on the Merchants Council. You know, he says, according to what other people are telling you, like, his only interest in being on the council in general is just to continue to advise and make sure that, you know, people are getting what he would consider a more full story of what is happening and not be dissuaded by, the negative public opinion about certain things. He has in numerous occasions, with that seat, attempted to overturn some of the bans on some of the spells that are banned, but to no success.
All right.
Yeah, so I believe that'll take us to the evening. Is there anything else anybody wanted to do real quick before you guys would meet back up at the inn?
Drink.
I was gonna see if if I could check out or buy this book from the library, the Dracona book.
The book you are not a resident here, so they cannot allow you to check out the book.
And I'm assuming they don't have like some sort of sale or anything like that.
The Temple of Shushat does not sell their books.
Oh yeah, I forgot we were in the Temple of Shushat.
Yep.
I'll ask them if they can recommend a good bookstore near whatever the name of the inn is that we're at.
They'll recommend the same one that you visited before.
Oh, okay. Okay. And then if I have time, I'll run in there and grab a book similar to this.
Yeah, that will cost you about 10 gold.
Sounds good. I'm assuming that there's
I'm sorry, actually it will cost you 50 gold, but it will give you a +1 bonus, a +1 circumstance bonus to linguistics checks having to do with Draconic.
Hey. Okay. I will pick that up because I know that that's the language of magic and stuff, right?
Correct.
Okay. So I would definitely pick that up. That seems like a good idea.
Okay.
And then I will head back to the inn.
I would assume we would all be leaving at around the same time.
Yeah, that's probably going to be about the case.
Okay, so
I'll mention it before I leave.
Yeah, I would initiate small talk again.
Okay.
So you guys found what you needed here, or?
I found exactly what I needed.
Cassius?
Maybe? Sort of? I don't know. I'm very confused.
Well, I found it very informative, and Aldronicus, I was thinking on your words during my perusal, and I would like to offer this to you, and I'll take the necklace of cure light wounds off my neck and hand it to him.
Okay.
And I'll say, you seem to find yourself on the front lines before the rest of us, and this necklace was issued by the military to my old group. I'm the only one with one left, but I think it would suit you more than it has me.
Yes, so perhaps Zeke. But I appreciate.
Well, I'll give it to you to.
I will determine its abilities, and I will see if it how beneficial it tends to be.
Should we beat him up to test it out?
Roll for initiative. Let's go.
Let's go. Let's do it.
Okay.
But I appreciate the gesture.
All right. And then out of game for now, I'll leave it on my character sheet until you want to copy it over to whoever has it, I guess.
Yeah. Once you decide where you want it, it is basically a cure light wounds that can function. That has it is a necklace that can cast cure light wounds with 3 charges, but every day it regains 1 charge.
Okay. That makes sense.
All right. So you guys get back to the inn. You'll stop off, get Cassius's book, and I guess at that point Zeke and Spinks are probably downstairs as well.
Bold of you to assume I walk downstairs.
Yeah, I mean you need to eat at some point, right?
Well, Zeke's just been day drinking, so he's probably just like.
Oh yeah, Zeke's been there the whole time.
Yeah. Zeke's like the guy at the end of a tailgate, just like.
No, I think Zeke numbs the pain. Zeke drinks to numb the pain, right? But not enough to get like brain dead. You want to stay in that state that's just like it's comfortable, it's nice, like no more pain is there.
See, he knows what I'm talking about.
So yeah, you guys are seated around the table. Let me change up our background sounds. Good old tavern music.
So has anyone spoken with any ghosts today or anything of the such? I basically look at Sphinx.
Can't say I have.
I made potions, that's what you mean.
You made potions, or the spirit made potions?
It was a team effort.
Probably, but not intentionally.
Speaking
He
of
nods,
spirits,
looking a little bit concerned, but he...
Speaking of spirits, that reminds me of our sleeping time problem. I hope you're not going to try and kill me tonight. We'll look at Sphinx.
Can't make any promise.
I'd hope not.
Do we have a plan for a resolution to this issue? We were supposed to figure something out before we go to sleep tonight.
Yeah, we might want to move in, see if it follows.
Should perhaps you and Sphinx are asleep at a different inn today?
I
say that seriously. I'm not.
Just the two of them.
Because I should stay in a separate inn from you guys, so that it's harder for her to get to me if she is still trying to kill me.
Yeah,
Right.
that's what I thought.
I wouldn't. Oh, is that what you meant?
That's literally what I said. Yeah.
Oh, okay. I thought you said like
Oh,
me and her should just go to an inn. I'm like,
That's what I thought.
Yeah, we'll leave
You both
everyone
get
else
one
out
room
of it.
in the inn, battle royale style.
yeah, it's Mal.
Yeah, so you're
I
gonna
agree.
pick teammates.
Civil War. No, yes, Mal, I agree with this. I don't know if anyone can stay on watch to see if she leaves her room to try to head to me or something. So, or I don't know how to. You can stop her, wake her up. I don't know.
Well, we might need sleep in shifts like we would
It's not a
out,
bad idea.
out of camp.
Good. We could do our sleeping rotation, but I think it would be better if each of us did 3 hours and Arius was safely away, in case the spirit gets violent with him.
I agree fully.
If we're that worried, I probably should also be told what inn.
No, you
I'll
will not
send
be
this
told. You will not be told what in.
Alright, good. Just making sure.
In fact, he may not even be staying at an inn. I may have only told you he's staying at an inn to convince you that he's going to be at an inn.
I nod.
Hurt the spirit's head now, please.
Oh, we're talking about spirits? Look what I can do. I'm gonna go ahead and touch the center of the Wayfinder.
Yeah, and the Wayfinder will point southwest.
Does that seem like a problem to anybody?
I mean, I got ranks in survival, so I guess I would know.
That's
Is
not
some
what a
sort of,
compass is supposed to do. With your ranks
Is
in
some sort of-
survival, you know that for certain.
So you got a magic compass. I mean,
Is this some sort of bar trick?
No, it's got some sort of like portal or something to the ethereal realm. So
Oh wait, this is
something's gonna kill me, isn't it?
sorry, out of character. We all actually were there when Sphinx identified this, right? She told us all that it has something special in the center there, or whatever.
Mhm.
That she sees
A
spirit
spot
and
where an
stuff like
ion stone's supposed to be.
that. Yeah. So yeah, I would just bring this up again. Just say, like,
I'll see if I can stick an inanimate object like I don't know, like a pen or something, whatever I have in
Nothing
my.
will happen when you do that.
Did
Okay.
anyone else try doing this? I'll
Nope.
put my finger there.
Nothing will happen when any of the rest of you do it.
Oh, good. At least it's only coming to kill me. I guess.
I mean, is it not pointing towards the missing item from inside of it?
Maybe.
Probably, but
Why do you think something's after you?
Yeah.
I don't even know. I just woke up with it, right, or did somebody give it to me?
You just kind of like woke up with it.
Yeah, I just kind of woke up with this and this. The points to the mummy rot.
Oh yeah, I was gonna ask, how is that going? Because it's been how long since it should have receded by now, or is he fine now, or what?
Nah, it's magical. And as far as I know, it's not anything life-threatening. But it's
Out of
also a little
character,
costly to.
Does it look better, or does it look just as bad as the
It
first
looks
day
like
we
it's
had him?
improved a bit.
Okay. It looks like with time you'll heal up, Cassius.
Hopefully, it's it's a little costly to get taken care of if my calculations are correct. Because it's like 2 third-level spells, right?
It's pretty up there.
Because I think I have to get cure disease and cure wounds or something.
No,
Or...
you need lesser restoration and remove disease.
Okay, yeah.
All right, so it's pointing towards a mummy holding the item that needs to be placed into it.
Yeah, probably.
Mal,
I'm guessing.
you know that's not the case.
Okay. Yeah, I was gonna say, should I just be like whispering you on Roll20 if I want to know something about his past that I would know? How do you want to do this?
Yeah, that's probably fine.
Okay.
I'm gonna kind of let you know though, as he's doing this, like where some of the incongruities are.
Okay.
So.
Yeah, I just wasn't sure if you want to do that in video, if you want to tell me in text, or how you wanted to do that.
No, you know he did not get this from the mummy.
Okay.
I can't see inside of there, right? There's nothing.
No, you can't see inside of it.
Huh. Yep.
Well,
I mean, if we can't do anything about my mission, I don't think we can do anything about that until after this cart's done.
Yeah.
That's true.
I say, with a spiteful look on my face.
Zeke, no need for attitude. It's true. What you say is true. Obviously, we can't do anything until we finish this mission. But I'd like to reiterate, I am committed to addressing this bookstore problem. It sounds like a problem that should be addressed eventually, just not at this precise moment.
yes, it's not that we're not interested, Zeke. It's put it in this situation. If there was a knife held to your head and someone said that they would kill you if we did something, would you want us to do that?
If it's going to save a lot of people, yes.
Duly noted.
But that would also imply you know it would save a lot of people.
Yep. Just like this would.
Do you, though?
Yes.
Oh, this looks like one of those conversations.
Yeah.
That's an opinion, and it's noted, and I will consider that. So, I don't believe it to be of the urgency that we have to act immediately, as opposed to some time from now when we have better preparation.
In fact, I learned earlier today that this man is also essentially turning people's minds into Swiss cheese. So
that would be, again,
Destroying
certainly more
lives.
disturbing.
The worst kind of cheese.
But when I have to speculate, I'm going to put more weight on what I know, which is that Sphinxor has been loyal and a part of our party. Whereas what I don't know is what necessarily is for sure happening. So I have to put weight on that over speculation.
Okay, we need to take a short break.
Go. I'll go grab him.
Sounds good.
Thanks, guys.
Good.